Do you have more faith in Baker or Hurts this week?
I got more faith in my marriage, and I'm saying Jalen Hurts. Okay, number one, specific to Baker Mayfield.
I mean, where you get the marriage from?
Specific to Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Jalen Carter could ruin this football game. Pass protection in Tampa Bay has not been good. Jalen's the reason why the Eagles beat the New Orleans Saints. Can he do it again? So that has me concerned to Baker. Jalen Hurts, if we just get rid of 2 bad decisions a game, he's playing at a really high level. Yards rushing and yards passing. Now you got to get rid of the turnovers. But I think at some point, that player gets that under control.
Okay, what do you say, Stephen A?
Well, I don't understand what your
I
answer
said
to this question.
Jalen Hurts. I said
Jalen
I like
Hurts,
being
right?
married to I love being married to my
First
wife.
of all,
right, we're gonna skip ahead to Stephen A's answer, but he goes on for a whole minute about nothing to do with this, and I started to do this clip before, and I was like, I can't, so we're just gonna skip ahead to when he actually answers the question.
bring up Jalen Hurts if he just can get rid of 2 mistakes a game.
Finally, we had fun on
That's
the
your
show.
argument. Yeah, how about 2 a game span in the last year plus?
Well, we gotta get right.
26 turnovers since the start of the 2023 season. That's the worst in the NFL.
Hold on.
Now, I just love Jalen Hurts, but to answer the question in terms of trust, considering Mayfield and the way he's balled, considering that he stomped Jalen Hurts and the Eagles in the playoffs, considering the way Tampa Bay has started off this season, how in God's name could you possibly say?
I just want to,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, look,
No,
you
he
think sitting
disagrees.
down like
I
this
know.
is going to do it for you? You think sitting down like that's going to do
He
it
disagrees
for you?
with
Like that's going to do it? You're wrong.
America. I
You're
want
wrong.
to do the alley-oop.
You're
I
wrong.
want
Two a game.
Two a game. If he could
This
just
is like
get rid of the 2
Inception.
games.
This is like Inception.
Go ahead, break it down.
It's September 26th, right? On First Take, Stephen A. has praised both Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield on the same show.
Yeah.
It's fluid.
Yeah. What do you say, Stephen A?
It's a new day, Stephen
I'm a
A.
fair-minded individual. It is fluid, but you sitting up there starting up your argument. If he could just get rid of the 2 turnovers a game.
As soon as you said it, lose
What
five.
are you thinking about it? What a horrible argument. It's horrible.
I do not sit
You
like
understand?
this.
And then you brought up your wife. And you know I'm not going to let you get away with how notoriously cheap you are.
literally said
saying
all the wrong things.
Okay. There's a lot of extra nonsense in this clip, and I was like, as I was doing it the first time, I was like, am I even going to do this? And then that's why I skipped ahead, because they were talking about, I don't even know. Honestly, I saved you the trouble, I promise you. But yeah, okay. It's obviously Jalen Hurts, and it's not even close. It's not even close. I don't know what Baker Mayfield does better than Jalen Hurts in any situation. Please tell me, does he throw a better ball than Jalen? No. Does he move better than Jalen? No. Does he make better decisions than Jalen? Honestly, no. I understand that Jalen Hurts has turned the ball over as of late. But again, last season, he had no legitimate offensive coordinator, okay? It was just a disaster from that position, okay? And so that matters tremendously. Everyone wants to keep holding his feet to the fire. If that's the case, then hold Baker Mayfield's feet to the fire for what he did in Carolina and what he did with the Cleveland Browns. So, like, just you can't do that. You can't just pick and choose when you want to look at someone's history versus not. Because then if we want to keep looking at the history, look what Jalen Hurts has done in the playoffs. He says Baker Mayfield, stomped the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, with a brand new defensive coordinator, a awful offensive coordinator and play caller, and the team collapsed. Jalen Hurts had a bad knee, a dislocated finger, and no A.J. Brown, and a retiring Jason Kelsey. And yet that's supposed to be all on Jalen Hurts' fault for why they lost? Like, come on, man. Get out of here with that nonsense. Jalen Hurts has been playing very well this season. Very, very well. And yeah, does he need to cut down on some of the turnovers? Absolutely. But the truth is that a lot of these quarterbacks have a lot of turnovers right now, right? A lot. It's that the turnovers has been very high for quarterbacks. And the truth is that a couple of Jalen's turnovers really weren't fundamentally his fault. And so, and some of them are just going to come with the territory of being the type of player that he is because he does so much for his team, especially with his legs. So he's going to be holding on to the ball. And so, yeah, you're going to get some fumbles. That's just what happens. It's just what happens when you are a quarterback asked to do that much. And when you're asked to do that much, you see turnovers. You see it with a quarterback like Josh Allen. So, yeah, if we're going to, make things all equal, in terms of right now, today, with the respective coaching staff and players, like, yeah, I'm going to trust Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has shown to be able to do more and do it at a higher level than Baker Mayfield, and it's not really a debate. It's really not. Okay? It's just like, what really has Baker Mayfield done enough? And people want to like maybe bring up some playoff wins, and it's like, you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were comically hilariously awful in that game, and yet they still almost won. I mean, they turned the ball over like 4 straight drives, the Pittsburgh Steelers, or like something insane. I forget exactly, but it was just like wild. That game was like the definition of a clown show. That wasn't Baker Mayfield's greatness. Baker Mayfield was able to boost his stats in that position, but like, go watch that game. That was not Baker Mayfield magic. It just was not. And then it was the same thing against the Eagles. The Eagles were one of the worst teams in the NFL. They were losing to a backup quarterbacks for the New York Giants and the Seattle Seahawks. So beating the Eagles in that moment is not impressive. It's not special. It was not unique. Everybody was, right? Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, who we know Stephen A thinks were not good and a bunch of phonies, they crushed the Eagles. So it's just like, let's, we got to put it all in context here. But if we were to have a draft right now and we had to pick a quarterback, I'm very confident that majority of the teams would be picking Jalen Hurts over Baker Mayfield, especially if you're talking about great coaches, right? Combining them with great coaches. I think Jalen Hurts' biggest liability has always been coaching, right? We saw what he could do with Shane Steichen. We saw how much of an instant impact that was. As soon as Shane Steichen took over play calling for the Eagles, things instantly got better for Jalen, and then that carried into 22. And then when you saw Jalen lead, when they took away Shane Steichen, we saw how much it hurt him. And we've seen the same thing with many other quarterbacks. We see it with Josh Allen. Josh Allen was great with Daboll, and then they had I forgot his name, but things really kind of started to go off the rails. They fired him, and when he finally got connected with Joe Brady, now Josh Allen is playing significantly better. Like, it just matters. So to put all of this all just on Jalen, I think that's my issue. So who do you trust more on Sunday? This is going to be such an interesting game because both teams are really injured right now. Okay, both teams are really injured, but the Buccaneers just lost to the rookie quarterback Broncos, right? The Broncos. The Eagles beat the Packers, a top team in the NFL. They beat the Saints, who were super high powered, were the hottest team in the NFL, and they lost to the Falcons, who also almost beat the Chiefs. So they're obviously not a bunch of slouches. And yet, that was also not on Jalen Hurts' fault. Jalen Hurts set the game up to win and ice it, and it just so happened, whether you want to blame the play calling or just a drop pass, it doesn't even matter. It wasn't on Jalen Hurts' fault, okay? It just wasn't. So I think what Jalen Hurts has been able to do this season has been really, really great. And again, he obviously needs to fix some things up and be better, especially if the Eagles want a true chance at getting to the Super Bowl or even winning the Super Bowl. But if you had to pick right now, who do you trust more Sunday? The answer is undeniably, without a shadow of a doubt, Jalen Hurts. And that's even with him missing his 2 starting receivers and 2 starting O-linemen, missing his wide receiver 1 and 2. That matters. That's a big deal. It's going to be fascinating to see what the Eagles can do. I don't know if the Eagles can definitely win against the Buccaneers, quite frankly, because the deck is stacked against them majorly. Probably going to be a lot of Saquon. I mean, how could it not be? And Dallas Goedert. But yeah, I'm excited for this game. I wish both teams were full strength because it would have been a fun, competitive rematch. But now both teams are it's like a cartoon list of injuries for both teams that I'm just kind of like, I don't really know what game we're going to get, honestly. I really don't. And since the injuries are all very specific and unique, it's like, I don't know what the Eagles can do missing their top two wide receivers. And I think the Buccaneers are missing a lot of they're missing some O-linemen, I believe, and they're missing some defensive players. Like, so it's just like, I don't know. I honestly, when you're talking about comparing two teams with a lot of injuries, I don't know how to compare them. I really don't, because you're talking about some backup, second, third string players coming up from the practice squad. Like, I personally do not know how to successfully evaluate it. So I really don't know who's honestly going to win this game, but it should be a fun game either way. I think the Eagles should be able to do it because Saquon should be a big game changer, and same thing with Dallas Goedert as well as Jalen Hurts. That should be enough, but you never know. You never know. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Who do you trust more Sunday, Jalen Hurts or Baker Mayfield? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.